6 strategies that will help you tame your emotions. Emotions are not always easy to live with. It's okay when they are positive emotions, but when it is sadness, anger, shock, or frustration, it can become a big limitation in your life. Here are 6 simple ways you can learn to be more comfortable with your intense, negative emotions and tame them. Be aware. Emotional awareness is a way that you can prevent yourself from giving too much energy and attention to unwanted emotions. For example, if you're watching the news and you're not emotionally aware, you can find yourself getting very angry at the world. If you practice awareness, you can immediately catch yourself getting angry and choose to switch channels. Focus on what you love. Many people tend to focus on the gaps or the negative aspects of life. By doing so, you allow space and energy for negative emotions within you. It's almost like you are looking to experience negative emotions, so you find something negative to get the experience you want. That said, shift your focus on things that you love. The more you do what you enjoy, the less likely you're going to experience intense negative emotions. Embrace your emotions. The reason for taming emotions is that they can make us uncomfortable or make rash decisions, and in some cases, behave in a way that is less than classy. The key is not to ignore emotions, but learn to embrace them and express them more healthily. If you feel anger rising in you, acknowledge that you are getting angry and find a way to express it without projecting it on someone else. A good way would be to go to your car alone and scream your anger or write down all the angry thoughts that cross your mind and flush it down the toilet for ultimate release. Observe your language. The words we use every day are filled with emotional content. For example, people who use the F word tend to be perceived as angry people. On the other hand, people who use words as I wish or I can't tend to be perceived as victims. Observe the words that you use and what they say about you and how you feel. Once you've identified those words, shift them to something more positive, like I can, I'll try, or I will. Evaluate yourself. A great way to tame your emotions is to evaluate or reassess your feelings from experience and identify how you could have reacted differently. For example, if you flipped during a staff meeting and made an angry comment, reflect on how you could behave if that same situation happened again later, which is very probable. What could you do differently, and how can you be better prepared not to react next time it happens? Be compassionate. Reality is that interactions with the outside world often trigger intense emotions. If you cultivate compassion, you are less likely to perceive other people as mean or trying to make you angry on purpose. An excellent way to start nurturing a compassionate mindset is to express gratitude for every person you interact with within your day. You don't have to tell them out loud if that makes you uncomfortable, but make a note to think something friendly and genuine for every person you encounter in your day. You will see that in no time, you no longer are triggered by certain people because you no longer perceive them as the villain. 7 things you didn't know about emotions. This information will help you find a more peaceful life and learn how to manage your feelings on a daily basis. Let's explore these 7 things. There are no bad emotions. We have been educated to classify what we feel as right or wrong. The reality is that every emotion plays an essential role in your life. We confuse destructive or bad attitudes with the emotions we experience. However, if you block a feeling you don't want to experience, you will be stuck in the same place for a long time. You can learn to observe emotions. You don't have to judge your emotions. When you feel a feeling rising, you can simply observe it. You can do so by taking several conscious breaths in and out. Observe your breath at least 3 times. Then observe the emotions and thoughts that go through your mind. Accept them as they are. You cannot avoid them. They are there. Finally, as soon as an emotion tends to overwhelm you, try to go back to what started it, then to your breath. There are only 2 emotions, love and fear, govern everything we experience. The rest of the emotions you experience are variations of one or the other. Emotions perceived as unfavorable derive from fear, and emotions that are perceived as positive arise from love. They can help you grow. Our emotions can help us heal, but they can also hurt us. Emotions are vibrations inside our bodies. Each emotion has its strength as well as its personality. They can appear and disappear depending on how strong and how much we put attention and energy to them. If we take the time to explore the emotion, we can learn a lot about us and discover what aspect of us needs to heal. You don't have always to embody the emotion. Realize that we have the power to act instead of reacting. The verb to act is defined as to enter the scene, to come into play. It comes from oneself. We put ourselves into action. The verb to react is defined as presenting a modification in response to the action of an external agent, which means we're responding to someone or something that we don't have control over. When we experience emotions, we can choose not to react to the emotion, mainly if others trigger it, and experience it in a healthy way. Act. The expression of an emotion is normally 90 seconds. An emotion is a physiological reaction, not a psychological reaction. All humans have the same emotions regardless of age, but adults have, in general, the ability to regulate and temper them. The expression of emotion lasts about 90 seconds and takes place in 3 stages. The charge, the rise of the body's sensations, tension, the feeling comes into action and behavior, and the discharge, like crying, screaming, or shaking. Besides, it takes 6 seconds to absorb an emotion in the body. If you experience an emotion for a long time, it's because you choose to experience it longer. Emotions are very contagious. When we see someone experiencing an emotion, our brain stimulates it. We feel that emotion in our bodies. It's what we often call empathy. Not only can we feel someone else's emotion, it can also be expressed in our facial muscles with a smile, frown, etc. Emotions are contagious. It is to our advantage when we experience positive emotions, but can be detrimental to a situation when it is a negative emotion.